welcome to Kapow. Comics, cartoons and collectibles is what we're about. I'm Sonia.
And I'm Al, and we are coming at you as normal from King's Comics in Sydney. Mm-hmm. And we've got kind of a bit of a dark show tonight,
We do. We have a creepy show. We'll be looking at Memoir #1 and Pandemonium.
Also, I'll be speaking with Gavin Kyle and Mark Corcoran, who are two local artists who've been inspired by comic book culture, and they've also adapted a zombie movie into a new graphic novel.
Zombies. I don't like zombies.
You're not a fan, are you?
I don't like them. They creep me out. Ray will be catching up with Bruno, who's a local toy and action figure collector. And oh my goodness, his collection, gotta see it to believe it. It's amazing.
That is going to be a little slice of awesome.
It will be. But first, we're going to take a look at Image Comics.
Yes.
Okay, so instead of putting the spotlight on a comic today, we thought we would put the spotlight on a publishing house. A little old one you might have heard of called Image Comics.
Now, Image was created in 1992 by a group of illustrators who had previously worked for Marvel. Now, the reason it was created was that although they had created these characters, they had no rights to them themselves. There was a lot of merchandising being done, a lot of money being made, and these guys were just getting their basic page rates, so they were feeling a bit shortchanged.
Exactly. So when Image first came about, their main kind of mission statement was the fact that the characters were owned by the creators and not Image Comics, and no other writer or illustrator could muck around with them.
No. So there were 6 different publishers underneath the umbrella of Image when they started.
Yes, so we had Top Cow, we had Todd McFarlane Productions, and we had Extreme Studios.
Yes, we also had Highbrow Entertainment, we had Wildstorm, and we had Shadowline.
Indeed. Now, one of the first titles that came out from Image is probably its most well known as well, which is of course Todd McFarlane's Spawn.
Yes.
When Spawn came out, it was such a huge success. It really pushed this tiny creator-owned publication house into the market.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting though, that given the reasons for Image being created and with McFarlane's part in making that, it's interesting that he ended up in this big drawn-out, well-publicised legal battle with Neil Gaiman.
No. We're not discussing this. It's completely beside the point.
All right,
Always goes on about this.
I'll put something on Facebook.
Anyway, some of the other titles that came out, we had Youngblood, we had Savage Dragon, and we had Wildcats. Some with great success, some with not so much. It was a varied thing.
Yeah. With some of the newer ones, we've got, of course, The Walking Dead has caused a great deal of acclaim for Image, both with its success as a comic book and then as a TV spin-off, which everybody would be aware of.
Everybody loves zombies.
Yeah, well, except for you.
Except me. Yeah. Zombies and clowns, the only two things that give me a Wiggins.
Okay, now, we did throw it out to you guys on Facebook, since we were looking at Image, what titles we should have a look at, and the response was fantastic.
It was amazing.
Thank you guys, that was really great. Some of the ones that you mentioned were, they were Invincible, which is a story about, it's a great comic, and that's about a teenager who's also a superhero. A couple of people mentioned Chew, which is also a great comic, and that's about a homicide detective who has a special ability where anything that he eats can give him a psychic impression.
I am really glad I don't have that.
Well,
that
think
would
about
be
it.
Awful.
Think about his job. How do you think he solves his cases?
Yeah, no, don't like it. Some of the others that you guys mentioned was the Amazing Joy Buzzards, which is a short-lived series. It was about a rock band who fought evil.
As they all do, to some
Absolutely.
extent.
There was The Little Depressed Boy, which I personally just started reading, so thank you for that recommendation because I'm loving it. It's amazing. And of course, Witchblade.
Of course.
So it kind of shows the varied titles that Image actually controls.
And I've also got to mention Powers by Brian Michael Bendis, one of my favourite ongoing titles for a long time now. Yeah. And that started at Image in 2000 until it moved to Icon in 2004. Yeah.
So, now what are we going to do with, can we rate publishing houses?
Oh, look, I don't know, but I would say if you're one of those people who's strictly the big two, DC or Marvel or both, and that's all you read, look, that's fine. There's nothing really wrong with that, but you could be missing out on some fantastic reads.
Yeah, I mean, some of my personal favourites are creator-owned works. You just have to go off the beaten track a little bit and you just might find a new favourite for yourself.
You certainly might.
Yeah.
So I guess if we had to apply the rating system, buy?
Oh, buy.
Buy them all.
Buy lots.
Like Pokemon.
Yeah.
Gotta get them all. Maybe not. Okay, guys, interview time. Once again, we're going to be talking with Gavin Kyle and Mark Corcoran. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks for having us.
All right, so you guys are artists, you work together. What is the stuff that you've been working on at the moment?
At the moment, we're putting together a blog called Hell in 3D.
Oh, yeah?
It's just a gathering of both mine and Mark's art, stuff we're doing separate and stuff we're doing together.
Awesome. I have seen some of it. It looks really fantastic. And what's this with the zombie film I've been hearing about?
Some guys from Matraville in Sydney, they're putting together their own project called Mary Doe at the moment.
Yep.
It's a zombie film. And they asked me to do an online graphic novel, I guess.
Fantastic.
I did 8 pages for them. You can find that on their site, Mary Doe Movie. Mm-hmm. And I won't give anything away. I'd rather people see it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We want to get them on there and have a bit of a look. I know they freak Sonia out, but I love me some zombies.
Oh, I love me zombies too.
So, look, now you guys are very much influenced by comic book culture in your art. What are some of the comics that have been an influence to you, would you say?
Well, the biggest one for me is probably 2000 AD.
Awesome.
From a young age, seeing just so much variety in there.
Yeah, they've got a lot of varied stories. Yeah, it's true. Okay. And how about you, Gab?
Yeah, 2000 AD sort of, I guess, got me right into it. Mm-hmm. We were both from out of town, and that was pretty much all they sold at our newsagents. Yeah.
And, not spoiled for choice.
That's right. But probably more modern influences would be Mike Mignola, Ashley Wood, Ted McKeever.
So you're slightly left of centre kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Fantastic. All right, well, let's get kind of a bit of an origin story, how you guys kind of met, how you hooked up, and what made you start working together in the first place.
Okay, well, I can't really remember when we met. Mark probably can. I know it was in primary school.
Yeah, I walked into a tent in the playground and Gavin was sat in there playing guitar.
Okay.
Charging people 20 cents for a song. So that's how we first met.
All right, peddling to the masses from the beginning.
I've always been a scumbag.
Nice. Okay, fantastic. And look, obviously, you guys have been friends a long time now. Where do you see yourselves going in the future?
Well, we both want to really put a comic book together.
Mm-hmm.
We both have really different influences.
Okay.
I've always sort of liked the art of, say, Jamie Hill. It's sort of really iconic, he's the artist of Tank Girl Gorillas fame.
Yep.
Mark's got a few different influences, like
mostly 2000 AD or just ancient history books, really.
Okay.
National Geographic, stuff like this.
Interesting mix.
And it all just comes together and blends in, and it's...
Okay, and you do a lot of the online stuff, obviously, at the moment. Are you looking to hopefully publish anything in the future?
Well, as I said, we're trying to get a comic book together, and it will be published online eventually.
Yep.
I don't think we're looking to do like a trade paperback or anything like this. But it could be down the track.
Yeah, who knows what the future may bring.
That's right.
All right, fantastic. Now, everybody should have a look at Hell in 3D. Get in board. What's the address for that one?
It's hellin3d.blogspot.com.
Okay, fantastic. So definitely check that out.
It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, we'll expect fantastic things in the future as well. You guys will obviously be through the blog. You'll be advertising anything with the comic as that comes in.
That's right. We've got an axe to the grind and stuff coming out every week. So
excellent.
Check it out.
All right, great. Well, look, that was fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you.
Since we're doing a profile on Image, we thought we'd have a look at one of their titles. So we've picked up Memoir #1, written by Ben McCool and illustrated by Nikki Cook.
Yeah, and I think it's a really good example of the sort of work that Image does. I mean, here we've got a dark mystery, we've got gruesome secrets being unearthed at some points, literally, and we've got a genuinely unlikable lead character.
Yeah, Trent McGowan is an arrogant, opportunistic journalist who has taken it upon himself to solve the year-long mystery of Lowesville. Lowesville's just a regular old US town, nothing fancy about it, except the fact that entire population have lost their memories.
Yeah, now it's not even a day that he's been in Lowesville before he realised this is not mass hysteria, this is not some sort of elaborate hoax. Something bad happened in Lowesville, something creepy and sinister and a lot of other synonyms for bad.
Yes. The thing that I love the most about this comic is its artwork. It's just brilliant. It's all done in black and white, so there's a lot of stark lines and almost a noirish use of light and shade.
Oh,
it's
and
so good.
We have to talk about the faces.
God, yes. The faces in this is what really sells this book. You can just see on their face what they've been through, what they're feeling.
Yeah.
It's just such a brilliant job that Nikki Cook has done on this.
I mean, when we start off, we've got McGowan being interviewed for TV, and everybody at that point is so smooth-faced and unlined and smiling, and then you get to Lowesville. The people of Lowesville, their faces are like a road map. They're like bruised fruit.
Yeah, the butcher is a perfect example of this. His face really haunted me when I was reading this. You could just see there's hopelessness and almost, I don't know, it was like he's almost insane in this, and it's all there on his face. Amazing.
Yeah, no, and that was fantastic, how you could take a look at these characters and know everything that they've been through without even needing any dialogue.
The dialogue is brilliant in this, though.
Look, absolutely. I mean, McCall has done a great job here, and we've seen his work before in Justice League Unlimited, and also some of his other creator-owned work, like Choker, which he did with Ben Templesmith, also with Image. So, look, he hasn't missed a step here. I'm just saying that he's letting the art do its work.
Absolutely, he is. I mean, he doesn't overlay the text. You know, this is a story about things that are hidden and things that are forgotten, but are still felt. And it's done with such beautiful precision. It's such a deft hand on this.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, with all these hidden things that are hinted at and shown through their faces, what do you think happened in Lowesville?
I have no freaking idea. Absolutely none at all. But I so want to find out.
No, me too. I mean, there's just enough in this first issue to really get you salivating.
Oh, there is. This is such a buy.
Oh, just no ifs, ands, or buts.
Straight into it. This is a buy. It is exquisitely written, gorgeously illustrated. It's a buy. Go buy this book. Buy.
Well, look, I don't disagree with you. I think this is an incredibly well put together piece of work. I think you should get out there and uncover the secret of Lowesville.
Yes.
This is a buy. Get out there and check it out. You will not be disappointed.
G'day guys, instead of a review this week we decided to take a look at one of our fans' great collections. What we have here is Bruno, who has led us into his lovely home to show us quite a collection. We are just surrounded by toys and figures of all sorts. So Bruno, what started you collecting?
That came out when Hasbro decided to re-release Star Wars action figures in 1995, and I felt, I like Star Wars, I'll buy one.
Yeah.
And then I bought two, and then I bought more, and then I had to have them all.
Well, they've got some other figures here behind you. What are they?
So those are my current collecting focus. They're Micronauts and Microman.
Okay.
Microman. So the Microman is the Japanese version.
Yeah.
Micronauts are the American licensed version. So they're toys that were released in the 70s.
In the 70s?
Yeah. And thanks to eBay now, I used to play with them as a kid.
Yes.
And I can have more than I had back then. It's great.
So you prefer toys that you can move or pose? Do you collect statues? What's your preference?
I don't really collect statues. I like toys, not statues. So they've got to be toys. They've got to be action figures. They've got to be able to be posable, to be articulated, and the more articulated, the better.
Okay. And why collect? What was your reason for collecting?
Some of it, I like the characters.
Yes.
And so, for example, for the Marvel figures, I like the character, so I'll buy the action figure.
Okay.
For others, well, the Micronauts, it's because I had them as a kid, and my mother gave them away when, and so this is my way of taking my revenge.
Oh yeah, collecting them all.
As many as I can. Yeah, the catalogs used to say collect them all. So
yes, right. And how do you collect? Like, some of these toys might be pretty hard to get hold of then from the 1970s. Where do you go? Where do you shop to get these sorts of toys?
Well, there's eBay, which has really opened a lot.
Yeah.
But there's also an active community of collectors.
Oh, there is?
That discusses through mailing lists and Facebook. And
so you do trades as
there's
well?
A lot of trading. There's even like people who will send you things if you ask. Some people have got lots and lots of parts, collections, and when they see somebody who starts a new collection or who wants to get a particular goal, they'll, sometimes I've bought one thing of somebody and he sent me a whole bunch of other things in the package as well.
What's the criteria for you choosing a piece?
The condition these days, I mean, it's got to be something that I haven't got.
Yes.
To some extent, for those toys, I don't like to buy them in the packet.
Right.
Because I feel really guilty about opening them if they're still in the packet.
Okay.
I like to play with them.
Yeah.
And so I look pretty much for a piece that I can play with.
Okay.
That's sometimes, even if it's broken, I can fix it because I've got other parts. And sometimes
But you have a lot of toys here that are still in the package. Do you prefer to keep them in the pack, or do you prefer to open them up and have them on your shelf?
The Star Wars I kept in the pack, except for the ones that I really like, and I bought 2. I opened one and kept the other one in the pack. But when I got to Micronauts, I just wanted to buy them.
Is there a particular way you look after them? I see that none of them carry a lot of dust or anything. Have you got a little cleaning kit or something that you go around and
No,
brush
I
them all?
just
How do you look after them all?
feather duster.
Feather duster? Yeah.
And if you play with them regularly, they don't get dusty.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Plus, I try to keep the room sort of
Clean. Yeah. And do you have a particular piece that's your favourite?
The set over there of all the Robot Man is interesting because it shows the same toy done by different companies in different colors at different times.
Okay.
So you've got the American version, you've got a couple of Japanese versions, you've got an American knockoff. That's a very nice set.
Well, thanks very much for joining us on the show today, Bruno.
Thank you.
Okay, quick disclaimer on this book.
Yeah.
Pandemonium is not for the faint of heart or the weak of stomach.
And it's also not for our younger viewers.
Definitely
gotta
not.
say.
This is most certainly an adult book. It is a horrific tale, which is almost as sickening as it is compelling. I mean, seriously, I pick up that book and I didn't put it down until I'd finished it.
Yeah. Pandemonium from Humanoids Publishing, written by Christopher Beck with art by Stefano Raphael. This one, what grabbed me first was the title. I mean, Pandemonium, obviously it means chaos and disorder, but also if you read Milton's Paradise Lost, is also the name for the capital of hell.
Yeah, which is completely intentional by Beck. The book focuses around Waverly Hills Sanatorium, which is a real place in America, and it has the title Most Haunted Place in America.
Get your head around that.
Most haunted place.
You may have seen it on Ghost Hunters. They
Yeah.
filmed a lot of stuff there.
There have been several unsuccessful attempts to resurrect and renovate this building. A hotel, a prison, a 500-foot statue of Jesus.
Yeah, based on the Christ the Redeemer from Rio.
Yes.
Yeah.
All completely unsuccessful. But in this book, it's in its former glory, which was as a treatment centre for people suffering tuberculosis.
Yeah, so we come in with Doris Greathouse, who has shown up in the summer of 1951 to seek treatment for her daughter Cora, who has come down with TB. Since Doris was treated successfully with her tuberculosis when she was a child at the sanatorium, she figures it's the best place for her kid. And she could not possibly have been more wrong.
No, this place is as close to hell on earth as you can get. The doctors are sadistic and corrupt. The spirits of the dead roam the grounds freely, only seen by the children who are actually being treated there. So that's awesome. And every night, carts leave the sanatorium piled high with dead bodies, off to a crematorium on an underground death train.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
And you know what? Every single one of these horrible things is beautifully drawn.
Oh, it so is. The artwork in this is just superb. Every panel, the colours, the angle is done to such a great degree. It's amazing to read through.
There are some frames here that are really hard to look at, I've got to say. I mean, it does veer a little close to torture porn on occasion for me. If this had been a movie, I probably wouldn't have watched it the whole way
So
through.
now it's interesting that you bring up a different medium, because I was thinking about this the other day. If this was actually just a regular novel, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I'd be able to read it quite easily. I think because my imagination would have brought up different pictures, I'd focus on different things. But having it there in front of you, Raphael really pushes the grotesqueness into your face.
It certainly is confronting. But like you said earlier, I mean, even though you know from the beginning that this is a descent into hell, this is going to end in tragedy and horror, still, you have to keep reading. You have to plow straight on through. I mean, Beck really does get his hooks into you, and he drags you along for the ride the whole way through.
He really does. It's such a finely crafted narrative with only one loose thread that I can see.
Ooh, which was?
There's a character who shows up at the start talking to Cora. His name's George, and he is actually a ghost. He has a lot to say about what's going to happen, and he's a bit scary and really creepy, and he kind of freaks out all the children. And then one day he's just gone.
Yeah.
It just, and it never goes back to him, and I don't know what his story was, and he seemed like such an important character at the time. So.
With any of the other apparitions, they really did give some kind of idea what the story was,
Yeah.
got some kind of resolution. You're right, they did kind of leave that
No,
dangling.
it's just that little one thing. But what are you going to rate this, Al?
Oh, this is a tricky one to rate.
Yeah.
You know, borrow or buy. I almost said borrow on this one because honestly, I don't think I'll read it again. But you know what? I'm going to say buy because this is a really well-crafted story. It's well written. The art's fantastic, as we've said. It deserves to be bought.
Yeah, I'm not going to read this again, ever. I don't need to because I'm having reoccurring nightmares about it. Yeah. I think I'm actually going to take one of your tricks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, this is a buy with a but.
Oh, why can't you ever just use a simple rating?
Yeah, shush. If you're really into morbid, dark, gothic horror stories, or even if you like something a bit spooky with a really good mystery to it, you're gonna love this book. It is so worth reading. But be warned, I, Sonia, am warning you right now. This book will haunt you. This book will go around and around in your brain, and you will find that you will not leave Waverly Hills Sanatorium for a very long time. I'm gonna go turn the lights on.
Yeah, please. Hurry.
And that's us for another week, guys.
Yeah, it was a massive show.
Yeah.
And we'll be back next week with a look at all things Batman.
Yes. Al and I will be looking at some of our favourite issues, and Ray has got some amazing classic Batman figurines to check out.
So make sure you watch out for that. It's going to be batastic.
We'll be fantastic. Thanks very much, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye. So you gonna dress up as Catwoman?
No, you can. I'll put some ears on.
It was a one-time thing.